Okay, welcome. Just trying to do a pose for the open mic shot that I eventually have to take when when I'm advertising for the next open mic. Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry, the last one before Christmas, unless I do an SOS one on Christmas Eve or on the 23rd after I go to my first of three get-together parties this coming weekend. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm glad I'm doing this before I start the rest of my holiday hell again. Before I resume it. It's been ongoing. Big props to Blackbird, who just gave birth to, I believe, her third child. She is, we're going to get some information, hopefully more information when she gets home or when she gets home and wakes up. I'm assuming she's home and sleeping it off as she deserves to. She just joined us, I think, last month, and now hopefully it won't be too long of hiatus before she comes back again, because I know she's working hard and wants to get her multimedia project done. This might put a cramp on things, but she's been a workhorse in the past, and I'm sure she'll resume being so again. We have our live feature announced as I shouldn't say live because this is live. You know, people are like, but when I mean live, I mean our in-person Stone Soup for the assemblage gallery. Our in-person feature is going to be David Miller, who is I believe he's stage right of me right now, but left of the screen I'm pointing at. But anyway, exactly. Exactly. What was I gonna say? The hopefully we'll have one more feature for next week. And hopefully, that'll be an online feature, and hopefully we'll have more online features and more open mics discussed. And more importantly, I'm going to be on the phone with Dwayne, if not tomorrow, then Friday. And Dwayne Licia is one of the people behind the Fort Point Arts community, one of the masterminds. And moving forward, he wants to put in an extra in-person open mic and have it be an all open mic. I think there are pros and cons to that because there's always people I want to feature and doing the live show. That only gives me one live feature, one in-person feature a month, and however many I can fit online. But some people prefer that. So yeah, I have some thoughts about that, but also I'm excited for them wanting to put on one more show for us, and hopefully we'll find our spot, because one of the people who thought we were featuring, we were getting together again the last Wednesday, wrote me and said, "Oh, by the way, you can't do the last Wednesday of December." I'm like, I didn't ask for the last Wednesday of December, but something to wonder about. We might have to move the Stone Soup to a different day. It might be a Friday. Don't want it to be a Monday, but we'll figure it out as things progress. And now we're going to get to the open mic, and also thanks to everyone who has been reading or contributing to the Christmas Wars, which debuted on Monday. It's Oddball's unique theme that comes out once a year. Guess which time? We guess which holiday it premieres on. And we've had some great features, including John Wezick, who I'm sending a feature link. I'm sending an open mic link to, because I think I don't think he got it from me. So hopefully he will join us later, or he's just way too busy, and I don't blame him. But much exciting stuff happening tonight, happening all this week. Hopefully you guys have some exciting plans for this coming weekend, or at least just plans where you stay indoors and hide. I kind of wish that was my plan. And now we'll see if John comes back. But until then, let's, out of respect for everyone who's got here early, let's get started. The Raminator 5000 has picked our first person for the open mic. And I don't go first come, first serve, but as far as order of entry, we try and mix up the mic as much as we can, because during in-person open mics, everyone chooses 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and there's no one for spaces 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a little ridiculous. So opening up first, our brave man, Miss Angelo D'Amato.
Hello, everyone. How many, Chad, how many round robins do we have tonight?
Sorry, we have two tonight.
2 tonight. Okay. I was asking because this poem is kind of long, and if we have multiple, I was going to split it up. So I'll do that. I'll read the first half now and the second half during
Okay.
the second
If that's
round
what-
robin.
okay. Sounds good.
This is called On the Train to Damascus. 1. I met a woman on the train who'd just begun a round of sertraline. Don't worry, I told her, and she looked up from her wheelchair, tired, with frigid cheeks. I see the face that studied mine from the hospital mirror, red eyes and pale skin and unkempt chin. Finally, I thought then, against my will, I am a martyr. Martyr of what? I fantasize about heroic deaths when I'm depressed. Lately, I'm shot by a pissed off gun owner who's been wounded by my anti-AR bromides, and further, who's threatened by public displays of grief because they remind him not of his guilt, but of his impotence. I am shot by such a man while leading a march in memory of slaughtered school children, Edelweiss still blooming in my limp hand. 2. My grandfather lay cold and dead in a lilac-gilded coffin at the far end of a room, while his family talked and laughed and swayed. His hands felt like candle wax. 3. Brakes screeched and our bodies were thrown one against the other, and my hand touched the anxious woman's breast. A butterfly brooch with ruby-studded wings on an overlarge emerald lapel, breath that smelled of Valentine, red lips that parted in contempt. I'm sorry, I said when the train car steadied, brushing my hands against my pants as if to be rid of something vile. Sorry, I said again, and she nodded the nod that polite people must nod when they recognize the inconvenience, the stress that cannot be avoided when one quotidian life confronts another. She turned her face from mine, perhaps for the best. 4. I lay in bed that night and masturbated to the wails of inconvenience police cars, full moon in the window, buttressed by denuded branches. I writhed, and I'll stop there. Thank you.
Nice. Up next, if she'll press *6 to unmute herself, is our sole phone participant. We weren't able to locate Carol Weston. Hopefully she's at some dance club for a Christmas party, and we'll see her next time. Hopefully we'll see her before the new year. But for now, let's welcome Nancy Dotson.
Winter. Snow peeps behind my window. The wind blows against my face. Cold penetrates the body. Winter, go away. The freezing rain creates a skating rink. Watch out or you will fall. No bumps along the nose or knees, please. Just skate along with me. Why the wind, Lord? Why the hail and cold? My breath escapes in mist. I submit myself to thee.
Hey, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
Well,
And of course, as Patricia reminded me on the in the chat, everything's getting canceled because of the incoming weather, the rising storms, which hopefully will be over exaggerated. If I'm ever gonna be able to see my mom on Sunday, but yeah, a lot of people have canceled their flights. A couple of my coworkers had flights to Texas and elsewhere, and they're not going anymore, and I don't blame them. So stay safe wherever you end up going, whether it's home or to see a loved one. And of course, Patricia Sill. Did you get the second booster shot and get sick, Patricia? I forgot to ask you that.
I got the booster shot. This is not COVID. This is
I didn't think it was COVID, but I mean,
it's
the
one
last
of
time
those I got it. I got the booster shot right after a week after I got off the canvassing job.
yeah.
I had to hold off. But this is like so much stress trying to catch up and everything, and everybody's not wearing masks. And I got this at the dentist.
Oh,
And they told me no cavities, but yeah, an old crown needs to be replaced in March. I want to say, yo,
Ouch.
There goes my money, you know, I can't win.
I know
And
what you
because of
mean.
that, the shock, I got home, I got sick.
I hope you feel better, Patricia.
Well, because of my illness, anyway, it would have been canceled anyway, because my niece can't come because of the weather in the Midwest and also her job problem. And also, my family members, Calvin had to give up his room for a aunt of his who was very ill, who was elderly.
Oh,
And it's like a nursing home in my brother's house. So
that's not good.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
So
sorry
we're
to hear
gonna
that.
meet on Martin Luther King Day. At least everybody will get together. I won't be contagious.
That's good for you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna bring it over now to a sneak and give you a sneak peek of our feature in person, our in-person feature at the Assemblage Gallery on January 11th. Author of many poetry collections, chapbooks, and full-length books. Two. Still, you had a bunch of chapbooks too from Savannah Barber.
Thank you. One chapbook and 2 full lengths, but that's all.
There's one more in there. But anyway, let us welcome up Mr. David Miller.
Thank you, Chad. I sort of broke into your intro and introduced myself. Well, keeping in mind how the season isn't what it's reputed to be for so many people, which I respect. Nevertheless, sorry, folks. Nevertheless, this is a poem for this year, for this season, this year of mine. December 25, as it is. It's in 5 parts. December 25, as it is. 1. On Christmas morning, I float down the elevator to the lobby's coffee niche. 6:30 a.m. The hotel breakfast is silent. Untouched hard-boiled eggs, at attention like a church choir, all their little heads. Back on my floor, in a bathrobe, a young woman ponders herself in the hallway mirror. Someone's lost sweater waits folded on the table. I glance back when I reach her room. Our room, pardon me. I glance back when I reach our room. She's still there, at the center point between 2 dark windows anchoring the ends of the hallway. 2. On Christmas morning in our shared bedroom, 2 kids then, my brother and I, me almost done with grade school. We'd left Santa. He did his job for us, so we let him excite the actually little tykes. In place of believing, we jumped from one twin bed to the other, made Christmas hilarity giddy in air before stepping down the stairs, slow motion, eyes squeezed till we popped our lids open at the tree and what Santa used to bring. 3. On Christmas morning in this hotel, the woman who refreshes the cheese omelets, sausage patties, meat-based or vegetarian, arrived well before sunrise. Someone else, nameless to me, worked through the silent night in an office behind the front desk, 1 ear or 2 primed for the countertop bell. Annunciation of a kind, night visitor needing help, maybe a late arrival for a room at the inn. 4. Eventually, my family was all adult. Without Santa Claus to stuff our stockings, my mother declared we'd do it ourselves. I added my trinkets to legfuls of loot. Next morning, we dump out the clever, ironic, touching whatchacallits, Stegosaurus figurine, green plastic dice, pen disguised as a candy cane. Wondered what we'd do with it all the next day. 5. On Christmas morning, the woman who loans me the hotel's ice scraper was stationed here around dawn. Perhaps also the man who wrangles a housekeeping cart, purging each room on his beat, knocking at our door. We were just leaving. Windshield ice scraped to broken glass candy shards. My wife and I return home after a Christmas Eve revived in a living room of family and gifts, the first after 2 years inside our own walls. We end the holiday after sundown, final presents. Clear glass vase, blue shirt, One book for her, one for me. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Hopefully we'll get that hybrid system set up for the gallery by the time your feature comes. If not, we'll definitely at least live stream the feature. Up next, two faithfuls, one of two faithfuls who I'm very appreciative for helping Deb Priestley get to the feature last Wednesday for the last Stone Soup in-person feature of the year. Appreciate all their help. Special thanks and welcome to Jan Rowe, who needs to unmute herself. Can you unmute?
Yep,
There you
I'm
go.
reading. So I was revising something, and then I realized if something didn't make sense, and it wouldn't have, if I hadn't said the second argument and then the final argument, you know, I mean, it's like, well, this should make sense. So I forgot about to do that. So I thought I would read what I read today. It was the 33rd service for people that die on the street. They think there are about 53 of them, but it's for some reason, it's very hard to find out exactly who died. But I was asked to read this at the, with some other readers, so here it is. Don't hurry, in memory of Steve Murray. Steve Murray passed to the other side. Daryl called when I was on Zoom with Stone Soup Poets, so I texted him. I had just unexpectedly seen Steve at Forest Hills the last Indian summer, that warm Saturday. I did not realize it would be the last time I saw him on this side. Such lack of realization happened with Chris the Harbert, the Drifter, Al Action, and petite little Patty Clark, 80 years old, providing health care. And the last time we were at Church of the Hill 3 years ago, I was singing the choir with her. So this all reminds me of Thornton Wilder's Our Town, where characters see each other, but not really. And definitely not, as this may be the last time before passing on to who knows where. So that last warm Saturday, the last time I saw Steve, I was in a hurry to catch a bus back to Ashmont, but missed it. My friend Chris, who I was exchanging with at Forest Hills for a first time, she went to catch the 39 to meet somebody. In my hurry, I didn't see where Steve went. I pray to see more and not hurry, because I have hurried since the last time I saw Steve Murray. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. I just got off the phone with Carol Weston. She may join us in a short while, so hopefully. Up next on the next on the open mic, let's welcome up Mr. Robert Fleming.
Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming, a word artist from Delaware. Chad, would I be able to share the screen?
Let me get that taken care of for you right now.
Thank you. I'm going to be sharing a
There you
visual
go.
art. Thank you. Visual art series. It starts with a poem, Man the Hairy Snake. Like a snake, a man sheds and makes hair every day. So this is my series called Mandusa. What I did is I took all the different races of men that exist and put a snake on their head. Oh, and this is the Caucasian. He looks a little bit like a doofus like me. And this is the African American, which I think came out as the best one. And this is the Asian. And the bush from Australia. And the Pacific. And the Native American. And that's it. And I will be submitting that to Medusa's Kitchen. My inspiration for the series was playing a gender variation on Medusa having snakes in her hair to what it would be look like if men have snakes in their hair.
Thank you, Robert. What do we have next? Let's bring up next Patricia Kerrigan, who just got published in Oddball
Yeah,
today as
thank
part of the
you.
Christmas War. So
and I
congrats.
made a slight change in it. And I know I'm afraid to ask because I'm going to get shot.
Oh, just text it to me.
Okay, very good. I'm going to read the correct version because, I was just too quick to do the damn thing. Like, after I, okay, here he goes. On Christmas Kitty Coo. Kitty's reflections. The Grim Reaper sights more ornaments. Kitty on treetop. The angel of death surveys damage below. Body parts of balls scatter across living room. Kitty blames dog. Demolition Kitty bulldozes Christmas tree. Timber. Okay, I'll send it to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Patricia. And now, what do we have next? The Ramdonator 5000 has selected. Yes, let's go with Julian Powers, legacy poet herself.
I'm just going to read one poem today, and it's not a poem of my own. This poem is by Yuri Hospodar. I don't know if I'm saying that name right, but I know that a few of you know him. This poem is titled Watching Jack Powers Conduct the Ocean, Martha's Vineyard. Jack fixes his eye on the waves we'd walk by and climbs the winter empty lifeguard stand. His arms reach out, clear air falls from the gray sky and sets his trench coat alive. We clutch shells or paper cups filled with cold tea as the steady waves are given rhythm. Like any good conductor, he draws from the noise and makes it music, makes a shape from something there. Form comes to what seemed mere nature, like maybe a lost Mayer symphony or Powers' first performed. At last, we had heard the score read at times before. As we shiver to the car, he shrugs, smiles. The great thing is, it does it regardless. I mean, it didn't matter if I was there or not. And the ocean hisses differently to me through the windows. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. Ethan, are you just listening? You're just listening tonight because you're not feeling well, or do you want to, or did you want to play? Okay, I'm assuming he's sitting back listening. You can tell me if I'm wrong, sir. Up next, we have CC Ashagra.
Okay, hello everyone. How are you?
Thanks.
I have recently started something new. I don't write prose that often, but I found out that I actually had a page on Medium. I don't know how many of you are on Medium.
I am, and I've seen your posts.
Okay, so I started this thing and I'm writing letters. The project is going to be called Dear Letters. And so far I wrote Dear Death, and I'm working on Dear Fear and Dear War. I'm writing letters to these things. And I'm going to see if I can play it tonight because it has a record button and it lets you read it. So that's just different. And then I'll read one little piece from the open microphone and hope somebody wants to buy the book again, because then thank you for everyone who has, and the boxes of books are coming. I just talked to the printer today. So the pre-run are sold out, and now I ordered the whole thing. So that's gonna be coming soon. Let me see if I could hold on a second. Let me just do this one little thing. And then of course there's the Human Room Open Voice. And I got this Quintessential Listening is an online radio guy, Michael Anthony Ingram. So they got an interview coming up on January with that. That seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. He's a laugher. So from the open microphone, number 4. Being scared when you split a raw nerve open naked. A tragic image of your self-reaction's hunger. While within your own mind you are mocked by your very own strong, tender efforts, and pity moves to applaud you, and you feel honored. Sensitivity touches your eyes, and someone says, you've got to start somewhere to unveil your own ego. Do you feel like somebody or like nobody who is not scared? Do you return to the stage of everyone to read the same dance steps that tap out? I'm good enough to read my writing again. Am I scared enough to hear myself hear? Pride and appearance, reflect and pose. What is it? Am I writing? What am I doing to your listening? Just what am I doing on the stage with the poetry of my life? Am I simply just afraid, too scared and unaware? What does it mean to be too aware? What is unknowable? And now on the stage of Alone with What Is It? That's sacred. And that, of course, is from tens of thousands of people doing this. A study of the human journey into free speech and the word. This book is on my website. Thank you very much for those who order it. That's definitely coming. So here it is. I'm going to do the screen share, and let's see if I could pull this off. Okay. Wait. I'm gonna let it read it. It's only like, it says 2 minutes on here. Where is it? It's got to be here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's called Dear Death. Let me open it up. Can you guys see that?
Dear Death, I am writing you to address the end of every word. It seems the vocal cords of my silence wish to remain quiet no longer. My unbridled growing sense of gratitude and compassion is addressing you now. I come to you with an immediate concerns. I understand you coexist with life to receive. I accept that you receive no more than you are willing to. All within the art of how life gives. I feel you are familiar with this. I cannot blame you for defining yourself by what life has done to you. I accept that my quest to reach your open-ended mind cannot be attained by my wishes alone. My every thought's birth appears to pass through you. Regardless of the odds against how severely I may fail to communicate my dying love and respect for you, no matter the depths of my nature, let me get to the point of being here with you now. I need you. Now. More than before, and this urgency cannot wait. The delusion of waiting is, of course, physically accurate, but we both know reality has tremendous trouble navigating the end of itself. I hope this letter reaches you at the end of time. The next breath I inhale depends on it. I can no longer hold back time than the existence of form can hold the emptiness of a truth's last breath. This is not the first or last time I will reach out to you. I'm too biologically grateful to the third dimension to waste life without you. Okay, I admit it. You might as well know there is no time to delay in letting you hear the whole material truth. Please reread this letter over and over till I die, happily and without regretting a moment of our lifelong friendship. With all my heart beats, thank you. CCR.
And that da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. I don't know what that was like, but I didn't read it, I think, for a reason, because I'm not used to reading my own prose. So I figure I'd let it do it because it did a pretty good job, I think, as pausing and all that. And
This
that's
is
it.
this is Poets AI. This is Poets AI.
Yeah, this is somebody, I did it last night at a Cobalt, and somebody said, we should have an all AI poetry reading, just computers reading poems. I don't know what that means, but somebody actually said that. I don't know if it's a good or
I
bad.
think it's because of the AI art controversy. There's these programs or apps that come out and you can be like, oh, here's a picture of Soupy Sales and Marvin Hamlish trying to be wind talkers in World War II. And it'll give you like an approximation of that image. It's kind of crazy. And there's a lot of controversy behind it. A lot of questions as to whether or not it's art. So, and now they have AI generators for words. Like I have an author friend who's like, let me see what the AI generator will say for my biography. And it's like, he worked all the way into the 70s. The guy's the same. He worked from the 50s to the 70s. I'm like, this guy's the same age as me. And he was born in 1973 and worked as an editor of Life magazine. It's just like putting stuff together that is not true. So people have been having fun with that.
I completely, I think I did it to throw the controversy out there, also to let people know that it's a good way of recording yourself while you're just writing. And then you can
See, I put in the chat a software package I've used before for text to voice called Natural Reader. And I've used it when I had an erotic poem and I wanted a voice which was the opposite gender of mine to read it very quickly. So you might want to check out Natural Reader.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm way open to it being a good or bad or right or wrong idea. I think as long as we're talking about it, I think we're on the right path. Otherwise, just ignoring it, it's just gonna, I drove cab for 10 years, and one of the greatest lessons is if you do not drive the cab will drive you. And I think it's true in life. If you do not live your life, life will live you. So grab the AI by the horns and ride this monkey to the ground.
Angela just put in a question. Real question: was Andy Warhol the first AI artist? Discuss.
Excellent question. I like it.
All I can think of is maybe, but
I have an opinion. I don't have a very positive opinion, but I do respect that he was probably the best at being the worst artist. I don't think anyone was better at being the worst artist, which makes him a fine artist, But I mean, he sold a lot of drugs. He got a lot of people killed in heroin. I think I think he was sort of whatever. He's famous, that's for sure. But he played the game of fame, He's like Madonna in The Material Girl, she's one of the richest women alive right now. $500 million, I hear she's worth.
I think she got anyone hooked on heroin though. But
no, but she helped end music, Britney Spears and that other guy. Where now that's why you turn on the radio and you're just listening to the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, but you're not listening to so much the 80s, the 90s. And where's this new music right now? Where's the the double noughts or whatever, the many generation and the teens? Where's that generation of rock stars? They're all designed. We're being programmed. They manufacture fame now. You can't just let people become famous, and then have a voice and then tell a politician to fuck off. By the way, politicians, fuck off.
Thank you, CC. And discuss. Okay, up next we have James Van Looy to close out this round of the round robin. And check out his column next week. Check out his column tomorrow, oddballmagazine.com. It's all one thing, should be debuting at 11 o'clock on the button. Thanks again. And thank you, James, for being the other half of the duo, bringing
Yes,
Deb Priestley to Stone Soup. That was much appreciated.
It's not on yet.
yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
You're on.
Thanks, Chad. So I have a poem here. I've been doing a series of labyrinths, which are called Quaternity Strikes Again. So this is the Quaternity Strikes Again, or Deja Vu Cover Up in Plain Sight all over again. The brow furrowed, history talking, head full of the official narrative looks almost wonderstruck at camera. For after all, they've referred the former president for criminal prosecution. In fact, hung the whole thing right there on his ultimate bouffant comb-over version of 1950s hard guy locks, pompadour of carefully threaded illusion, when by now we know almost all of it. The two Supreme Court kings who were ready to give legal cover, indeed, one who voted twice to cover up his wife's obvious involvement as liaison to High Court of corrupt political hacks, who already had stolen at least one, if not all, the elections of my lifetime, but who could have thought it? And how could it have come to this, you see, when maybe after all, Ford should not have pardoned Nixon and covered up his mafia connections and mob money smack dab in the middle of cover-up that was worse than the second-rate burglary. But heavens forbid me mentioning how Ronald Reagan's Zap and H.W. Bush were allowed to walk because the prez was so demented that he couldn't remember anything. And H.W. had all the outstanding cases pardoned from Iran-Contra affair by Bill Barr, Attorney General. The president can do anything to any one person, for first H.W. Bush and then Trump, just as Mueller put away the money trail of the BCI Bank of Commerce and Credit International Saudi Arabian mover of money for missiles and spare parts and guns for Somoza Contra goons to shoot public health and education workers in revolutionary Nicaragua. When it turns out right down below here in the dank bowels of America, the emperor has, as it always has done, a constitutional crisis. Ben swallowed the imperial president, the supreme court, the legislature that can't make a budget its one central task, overwhelmed again by everything for the emperor, while there's nothing for the people. The U.S. it is us floating the collapsed economy of Ukraine of some 40 million people on Defense Department allocations, unlimited, while people who fund all this have havoc abroad, proxy war and regime change, judicial, legislative, executive. Every time you turn around, another turn. Watergate, Iran-Contra, January 6th coup, blatant abuse, and then along comes the Friends of Empire, security state to tighten it all up, and never, ever, ever to see the pattern that makes the criminals and their enablers exactly, almost, sort of, kinda the same. Thank you.
I'm in a flashback of Sesame Street. Pirates and emperors are really the same thing. I don't know if you ever heard that song on Sesame Street. It's brilliant.
I'll look it up. All right, round two will begin, and Angelo D'Amato has a poem to finish up, and that poem wasn't as long as I thought it was, Angelo. So if you want to put another one on top of that, yeah, feel free. But you're up now to start round two of the round robin.
All right. So we're picking up on section 5. Right. 5. When I was 11, I pretended to shoot myself with a friend's model pistol. The reaction from the adults chatting in the kitchen was swift and severe. I'd hoped they'd find it funny, ridiculous even, like Dustin Hoffman's Captain Hook proclaiming to Smee, "Don't try and stop me, Smee. Don't try and stop me," with his unreal mustache and bejeweled red overcoat, a garish pistol pressed into his temple, and hapless Smee wondering, what in the hell does this guy want? What am I to do? Poor, powerless me. 6. Sterile beeps, empty rooms, intimate dawns. This was grace. There's not much more. to say. 7. I wiped my stomach clean and cried beside used saltine sleeves, pulled the unwashed comforter over my shoulder, shivered. There is nothing heroic here. I'm sorry, I wish I'd said, when the women first rolled into the train. I see you're lonely too. That's that. And Chad, is it okay if I plug an event that's happening in January?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. On January 13th, I'm scheduled to be the reader at a literary event at the Little Crep Cafe in Cambridge. If you're in the area, I would love to see you out there. I'll send out more information once the official flyer is drawn up.
Definitely post it on Stone Soup when you get a chance.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Angela. Good to have you again. We are moving on now to our phone participant, Miss Nancy Dotson. She's already unmuted herself. So if you're ready, Nancy, we are too. Whoops. Nancy, you have to unmute yourself. You were already unmuted. Okay, you can go.
Nervous breakdown. I am me. I like to talk about me. If you talk to me, remember the fact I love me. I won't talk to you unless you talk about me. Think about me and definitely concentrate on me. Encircle me, please, with words for egocentricity never bothers anyone, I'm sure. Around through me in circles of soul, heart, mind. Yes, I'm tired, bored, unlearned. Restore me and thoroughly disgusted with me.
Wow, great.
Thank you, Nancy. Up next, who do we have for third? Yes, return to David Miller. See a show coming up on the 11th of January at the Assemblage Gallery.
Okay, thank you, Chad. I'm going to sort of unashamedly continue with my with my mood. But this is a holiday or Christmas poem, really. That's actually it's by someone else. It's by Edwin Morgan, who was a Scottish poet. It's really, honestly, one of my favorites. It was published in 1968 in Edinburgh. So I will not put an accent into it. It doesn't need one anyway. But so by Edwin Morgan, this poem is titled Trio. Coming up Buchanan Street quickly on a sharp winter evening, a young man and two girls under the Christmas lights. The young man carries a new guitar in his arms. The girl on the inside carries a very young baby, and the girl on the outside carries a chihuahua. And the three of them are laughing. Their breath rises in a cloud of happiness, and as they pass, the boy says, "Wait till he see this butt." The chihuahua has a tiny Royal Stewart tartan coat like a teapot holder. The baby in its white shawl is all bright eyes and mouth like favors in a fresh sweet cake. The guitar swells out under its milky plastic cover, tied at the neck with silver tinsel tape and a brisk sprig of mistletoe. Orphean spring, melting baby, warm chihuahua, the veil of tears is powerless before you. Whether Christ is born or is not born, you put paid to fate. It abdicates under the Christmas lights. Monsters of the year go blank, are scattered back, can't bear this march of three. And the three have passed, vanished in the crowd, yet not vanished, for in their arms they wind the life of men and beasts and music, laughter ringing them round like a guard at the end of this winter's day. That's Edwin Morgan.
Thank you, David. Up next, oh, we have the return of Jan Rowe.
Is it unmuted? Yes.
Yes.
Well, for this one, this is another, Chris the Drifter died kind of young this year. And the location of this tarp is strangely enough on Newberry Street at Emmanuel Church, which is right next to a really expensive jewelry store and a really expensive hotel. It's kind of ironic. Now, this one time about the tarp, Chris had gone down to Boston Medical feeling suicidal, but they didn't work weekends, the suicide prevention group. So when he went back, somebody had taken his tarp and dismantled it, but this is another time. This is called Frozen by Chris. I had a nightmare that I froze to death under my tarp. And the medical examiner said, "Oh, look at that, another OD." And I spoke to them, but they couldn't hear me because I was dead. Only I could hear myself saying, "You idiots. I didn't OD. I froze to death." Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. And who do we have next? We have Mr. Robert Fleming. The mic is yours, and so is the screen if you need to share it again.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming again, and I'm going to share a few photos. So I'm going to share that usually people see the results of all my photos, but they don't see how I get to them. This is a photo where I have part of the images at the top and the side that I want to get rid of. And one of the tools I use all the time is called cropping, which is reducing the top and the sides from when it's photos either a rectangle or a triangle. So let me show the next one. Where is it? So this is the one I used Windows Photo to crop this and remove the background, the top and the bottom. And then what I typically do for my word art is that I would just want to take the part of the image, which is me and the dog. And the tool that I use for that is called Background Remover. I use Adobe Background Remover. So I put the photo through that. And then I just have a picture of myself and the dog.
Is there any way you can enlarge the photo, Robert? It's all I see are thumbnails right now. I don't know if that's your intention.
Okay, let me go ahead and see if I can. How's that?
There we go.
Okay, so that's the final photograph, which is cropped and the background is removal. And this is the one just where it was cropped. And this is the beginning. And I'll just end with saying that about 30% of the time when you put a photograph through background removal, all you end up with is squiggly lines. So, but 30% of the time it doesn't work. And I wanted to share that on December 28th, I will be a feature at Planet Poetry 28, and I will be sharing on visual poetry and the element of layers, and I'll put that link in the chat.
Thank you, Robert. And now let's bring up Miss Patricia Kerrigan.
Hi. A short poem, jazz related. To dream in jazz is to become jazz. Close your eyes and listen. Go to where jazz becomes life. When your eyes reopen, you'll become jazz. Your words will sing the blues. Thank you.
Moving forward, Julian, were you going to read another one? You're passing. You're passing? Okay.
I'm gonna pass. Thanks.
Okay, then let's, and CC Ashagra actually bowed out. Because he had another meeting to go to. I wish I had a chance to say bye, at least text him bye. He was gone pretty quickly. But that means we close out again tonight a little early. We could use the rest, but we could use a break from me. But let's go to Mr. James Van Lloyd to finish things up.
Okay. So I have, this is an old poem, and I don't read it too often, but I kind of want to read it because of what Jan read. It's called The People. I actually wrote this at Pine Street Inn when I was working there in the 1980s when the homeless crisis was peaking. And so this is my poem in response to the social evil of homelessness, which has so curdled and I would actually say to people, we should understand at this point, homeless people have always had this dread fear of being put away in some kind of camps or detention or whatever. And we clearly have a political movement in this country at this point who is intending to do exactly that, okay? And actually tried to float this already down in Florida, where this clown who killed so many people with the COVID epidemic, is now plotting his way to the White House. So anyway, the people. We're still here, all of us. They feel safer thinking we're all alcoholics, drug fiends, crazy or dead. Some of us are, many thanks to them and their subsidized tobacco and liquor industries, their guns, drugs, and money all over the globe, their petrol-based pollution emitted from plastic stacks and pest-herbicide agro industries, and the Lord only knows what horrors of technological invention gone mad in the name of greed, avarice, and crackpot realist solutions to previous modern transgressions. But we're still here in all misinformations and diseducations, filtering down through the organs of academia and the corporate press aside. We still know something, indeed, much more than might be imagined by those who find it convenient to justify their tiny advantages, their gossamer veil of class illusion, their web of individual rationalization, their brittle, thin reifications of the disease, poverty, and race and sexism, which thrives on faintest difference. It gluttonously eats all of our flesh, like the cancers of addiction and the new old diseases of the 21st century mind and body politic, without our name until too late, and never a reckoning until long after the feast. But still we're here, and still we know and have known and are waiting and will wait, because all sickness and corruption aside, all death waiting in the wings, all backstage plots and conspiracy, racketeering and profiteering corrupt officials, paid off agencies, co-opted options, vacuumous commentators, canceled publications, fired teachers, and misdirected, misconnected, bought leaders aside, there is a new vision, or at least an old one grafted from roots more ancient than the first profession. And thus it can't be bought or sold, because we are it, and the people are not for sale. Thank you.
Thank you, James. This ended a little earlier than I thought. I guess Carol won't be joining us. We'll get together one more time next week before the New Year's. I don't know what's in the store for me for New Year's Eve. I'm definitely doing a yoga class with my girlfriend. I don't know if anything else is happening in between, but maybe I'll see you there. Maybe I won't. If you guys aren't too tuckered out after the holidays, please join me for Please join me for this coming Wednesday. Hopefully we'll have an announced feature, or at the very least an open mic. I'm looking forward to getting more features booked for 2023 than I did this year. It's moving towards that already, and I'm very excited about it. And stay tuned for the news of the live Stone Soup as well. I'm sorry, the in-person Stone Soup at all. It's all live. I don't know why I associate live with being in person. Like, this is live right now. This is real life. This is real life, man. No, but good Lord. Yes, Robert, I do that at least once every session. But we will hopefully have many more gatherings to come and be introduced to many more voices. And I hope you're all a part of it for the new year. And thank you very much. We're going to do the obligatory wave for the photo tomorrow. Thank you all for coming and taking time out of what must be a hellish schedule for the for the holidays. And I hope you guys get at least one thing that you really want this year, one thing that you didn't know you wanted, and get it. And I hope you at least spend time with the loved ones that love you back. Thank you
Great.
guys very much.
Thanks,
Enjoy your
Chad.
holiday
Thank you.
time.
Thank you for hosting, Chad.
Happy holidays, happy solstice.
Right.
Talk to you guys later. Have
Okay.
fun.
Bye.
Stay healthy, don't get sick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's been a
And
messed up year.
Absolutely.
show's over. See you next time.
Yay.
See you next year.